Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Please note this session is being recorded today. My name is Craig Zamary. I'm a business consultant here at the SBDC at YSU, and we're very excited to kick off today's session, which is part 2 of our series. And today's focus is on e-commerce 101. Yesterday, we had a great session with Curt. It was focused on LinkedIn for businesses. And if you missed it, no worries. We will send out a link with the recording of that session to you later today. So the purpose of today's session, e-commerce 101, is really to help you as a business owner, entrepreneur, or even any of your associates or employees that are logged in watching this today, really to help learn how to capture a variety of things such as the first page rankings on Google, to create landing pages that convert to sales for you, targeting your customers using Google Ads, and learning more about the advantages of the online marketplaces. As mentioned, a quick outline of today's session will be Curt Anderson, who spoke yesterday, is back with us today, and he's here to present. He will present here shortly. And I know that halfway through his presentation, we're going to go ahead and open it up for a Q&A. So please, if you have any questions, comments, please post it in the chat in the Q&A. My teammate, Jenna Binsley, will be monitoring that, and she'll go ahead halfway through, post some of those questions to Curt. And also at the very end, when Curt has finished presenting, we'll go ahead and open that up again for a Q&A with you. So with that, let's begin. We'd like to welcome back Curt Anderson. As mentioned before, he's founded an e-commerce company in 1995. And since selling that company, Curt has served as an e-commerce consultant, targeting manufacturers, including spending 4 years at the New York State Small Business Development Center. Curt is also an author of Stop Being the Best Kept Secret and founder of B2B Tale, an e-commerce resource guide for manufacturers. So with that, Curt, at this time, we'd like to turn it over to you.
Well, Craig, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Man, I just felt like I was here yesterday, Jenna. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. So good morning. I want to give a huge, warm greeting. Happy Wednesday. Good morning, Jenna, Craig. Thank you. What an absolute honor and privilege it is to be here with everyone today in beautiful Youngstown, Ohio. So guys, if quick shout out SBDC, connect with your local small business development center. Services are free and confidential. Most importantly, I want to thank you. So thank you for your time, your energy. If you were here yesterday, I saw some names that are here today. I think some were familiar. Maddie, John, I saw Curt, Eva, Grace. So guys, thank you for joining us today. I know you're super busy. We have a lot to unpack, so let's just dig right in. Don't you love back when we were doing things in person, you have that presenter, they'd say, hey, can we see a show of hands? So can I see a show of hands? Even though I can't see you. How about, can I see a show of hands? How many people want to cover first page rankings on Google? Absolutely. We'll talk about that today. How about landing pages that drive sales for your business? Absolutely. Show of hands for that. How about capturing those 6, even 7-figure e-commerce opportunities? We're all over it today. So let's just dig right in. So again, show of hands. How many people were here yesterday? A bunch of us, I promise. So Jenna, I stayed up all night. I'm working on new material, so I won't crack all the same bad jokes today that you guys heard yesterday. You're not going to see a bunch of the same slides other than this one. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Guys, I welcome you, encourage you. Drop in the chat box. Let us know where you are, who you are. If we were live in person, we'd be handing out business cards. Let's do a little networking. Drop your LinkedIn profile. We would love to know where you're coming from. Check out your website, all sorts of fun things. I dropped my LinkedIn profile in the chat box. I would be honored. I would be privileged if you would send me a connection. Jenna, I had this slide yesterday. I promised I wasn't going to repeat these slides, but hey, one quick OHIO. Come on, just do it for me. OHIO. So anyway, can't help myself, guys. Oh, and this is for John Lynch. John, you were on the program yesterday. I saw in the chat box you got talking heads. So remember, guys, this ain't no party. This ain't no disco. This ain't no fooling around. We mean business. So now, guys, back in 1995, what was that, about 50, 60 years ago or so? I had a business, and man, I was a train wreck. Don't believe me? You can ask my accountant. She said I was the worst client she'd ever had at that time. This was me, Jenna, in 1995. I was on my computer trying to figure out what is this little e-commerce thing coming into the world. And so this really changed things for me, and I'd like to share these things with you. So over those 40, 50, however many years that adds up to be, I've written a bunch of e-commerce resource guides. Stick with me at the end if you are interested. I would be honored. It'd be a privilege. I have an e-commerce checklist that I would be happy to send to you. No obligation whatsoever. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just do training. So I'm not trying to earn your business. So one more shameless plug, as Craig mentioned, I have a book. Let's all say this together. What's our goal today, guys? Stop being the best kept secret. We want to be out there. We want to be found. What I'm going to do today, guys, I want to take you on a little e-commerce journey, if you will. I want to share a little success story with you, and I'm hoping that we can apply this to you and to your business. And like my dear friend Les Brown says, hey, even as e-commerce juggernauts, we shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you're going to hit the stars. So let's hit the stars today, guys. So what we're going to do, so I have a couple workshops that I do. And so Jenna, if we did my workshop of all my mistakes, all my failures, that's like a month-long workshop. That takes a really long time. We don't have time for that today. So we're going to talk about a three-pronged approach to scale e-commerce success, man. And I'm telling you, this works. Let's dig right in. Number one, we want to make a great first impression. I like to call it webpression. Now look at the expression on these young people. Isn't that absolutely priceless? This is the exact same expression that we want when that ideal dream customer of yours has a problem that needs to be solved. In e-commerce language, a product that needs to be purchased. They do a search, they find your website, and ta-da, they are jumping for joy. They are thrilled. I'm trying to have my family members have the same expression when I walk through the door when I come home. It hasn't quite worked just yet, but I haven't given up hope. So let's keep moving forward. Guys, what you want to do on your website, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. We want to be clear. We want to be concise. We want to focus on your core strengths. If you have things on your website, we do all sorts of trainings, and I can't tell you, it is consistent. Clients are like, man, I wanted to take things off my website, but I just leave it on there because I feel like I need to have it on. Focus on what you're absolutely best at. And that's the language that we want to speak to that ideal dream buyer. Little tip for you, if you like, I'd love to share with you. Think about this. We want to be laser focused and clear, talking about your core strengths. Why? Because we want to prevent confusion. A confused customer is a lost customer. A lost customer is now your competitor's customer. Don't you love when you walk into a major brick and mortar store and they say, and you're looking for one little trinket and they say it's in aisle 5,922. And you're like, my goodness, how am I going to find this thing, let alone get out of the store? Will Siri or Alexa or somebody please help me? That's what we want to prevent on your website. Be clear and focused. So here's my tip. I encourage you, welcome you, have other folks look at your website. Sometimes we get so close, all the folks that I do training with, we're like, man, I'm so close to this. I just didn't see what you're pointing out here. What I encourage you to do, have your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers, your family, your dog, have other people look at your website and stand over their shoulder. Now, we don't need to be 6 feet apart anymore, so that's exciting. Maybe if masks are gone, right, Jenna? So what you want to do is look over that person's shoulder and see, are there areas that they get stuck? Is there any confusion? Is there something that made sense to you because you speak that language every day? But maybe for your ideal buyer, they're buying your product once a month, once a year, once in a lifetime. Let's make sure that we simplify it, keep it simple, and speak their language. Here's the other tip. We just don't know where anybody's working from anymore. Are they at home? Are they in the office? Are you doing B2B products where they're on a job site? Are they on a desktop? Are they on mobile? Where are they? Are they on a laptop? Make sure you're looking at your website on all devices. So it's called responsive. It is so common that man, my website looks fantastic on whatever device I'm looking at. And a month goes by and I look at my cell phone. I'm like, oh man, it's a mess. Make sure you're looking at all those different devices. Won't go deep into this. Yesterday, man, I had a blast yesterday, guys. I hope we had fun yesterday. We talked about this syndrome, this chronic crisis. It's called the wee syndrome. So if you weren't here yesterday, just enlighten you a little bit. We want to prevent talking about ourselves, that wee syndrome, where we do this, we do that, we are the best. Make sure that your language is all about them, your ideal customer. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. This is a company called Voice Express. I just scratched the surface on these guys yesterday. When I met them about a year ago, it was during COVID. They had some challenges with their website. Jenna, if you remember, these are the guys, they sell the little recording device to Build-A-Bear. As a matter of fact, I have a little sample of one right there. There's one of those little devices. So if you've ever purchased a Build-A-Bear and that bear speaks to you or your child, that little recording device comes from Voice Express. Well, when you look at their website, there was just total disconnect. It didn't speak to their ideal buyer, that persona. So what we did is we take all of our clients, when we go through our training, we want to dig deep. We introduced you yesterday to Monica Ventez. This is one of their ideal clients, their soulmates, if you will. And so what we did is we tailored the website to speak specifically to Monica, that B2B buyer that would that's in their space. Now take a look at their website. So nice, clean, and this is a great web designer did this project for Voice Express. They have a spokesperson, they have a video, and check this out down here. See these two little speakers down the bottom? So they sell audio devices. So what you can do on their website, you click that little speaker and it speaks to you, giving you a sample of their own product. Here's a picture of the product, and they talk about how it's in Build-A-Bear. So again, we want to, and here's the clear and concise call to action. They're driving traffic to Amazon. We're going to talk about Amazon later today. And they can also, for the B2B buyer, they can buy right on the website. Okay. Next, I want to show another example to you guys. This is a company called Faulconer Electronics. We were so thrilled and honored. They are located near Buffalo, New York, and they won the Innovative Manufacturer of the Year Award for 2020 for Buffalo Business First. It's a business periodical. We were thrilled for our friends at Faulconer Electronics. Faulconer Electronics, founded in 1985, mom and pop manufacturer, about 35 employees or so, had no online presence. Here's what we did. So their persona is Engineering Elsa. Can anybody drop in the chat box? Jen, I know you know this one. I know every song on this movie by heart. I have a teenage daughter, so she grew up on this movie. If you know this movie, drop in the chat box. But our persona for Faulconer Electronics is Engineering Elsa. And Engineering Elsa, she's out there, she has problems, she has concerns, she works at another manufacturer, maybe a Fortune 500 company, and I'm going to introduce you to a real Engineering Elsa in about 3 minutes. So when Engineering Elsa lands on this landing page here, she has two options: clear, concise, trying to prevent any confusion. This page converts so well. I'm going to be deeply depressed when it stops converting. But option number one, it's this little configurator tool that I'm going to show you. Number two, simply submit a drawing. That's all they're asking for. We don't need your social security number. We're not asking for your firstborn. What the goal is let's get that party started as fast as possible. We want to make it easy to do business with us. Thus, that's why e-commerce is a great place to be. We want to help our clients achieve their goals. Okay, so let's take it one step further. So back at our friends at Faulconer Electronics, they manufacture heavy-duty commercial power strips. So when I say a power strip, just that little power unit, that extension cord thing that you plug your utilities into, that's what a power strip is. They're one of the only power strip manufacturers left in the United States. So for example, if you walk into any Walmart in all of North America, their television department, all those televisions are plugged into a little power, it's not little, it's actually a heavy duty power strip produced by our friends at Faulconer Electronics. Well, they're also blessed and fortunate. They power all the artificial Christmas trees during holiday season at Lowe's. What was happening, people were walking into Lowe's, they were looking at that power strip on the floor, they were picking it up, turning it over, and they're seeing Faulconer Electronics. They started contacting the company and saying, hey, we like your power strip, can we buy some from you? We're like, hey man, that's an e-commerce opportunity. So what we did is we created a product line, a proprietary product line of power strips, and put them on their website. Now, by doing so, we open a door where now with e-commerce, we can be in business 24/7. And if you're new to e-commerce, man, it is so exciting. It is exhilarating when you can do business, you're making money 24/7. So if this is new to you, here's an order we received and it comes in at night. We are so excited. Now, by doing this, we open up the door to consumers. We also open up the door to other B2B buyers. And again, this is not a major company, small company, 30, 35 employees. Because they narrowed down their focus, went with e-commerce, Target came knocking on their door. They've just landed a huge project with Target. And now we're bidding a nice job with Dick's Sporting Goods. This was a really nice little testimonial I wanted to share with you guys. This came in from a customer. Just wanted to say thanks for building your products here in the USA. I do my best to search and purchase products made by American hands on American soil. Trips to the local hardware store. And last night at Lowe's, I found both sold about 25 power strips. All were made outside of the USA. Very disappointing, your new customer. So again, for any of you that are manufacturers out there or producing that products made in the USA, super exciting opportunities. So now let's dig in. Okay, Curt, we're new to e-commerce. I hear what you're saying. Where do I get started? Here we go. So we're showing two examples, Voice Express and Falcon Electronics. Both companies were already parked on WordPress. Now, I'm assuming many of you are also on WordPress. Why? WordPress fuels about 37% of all websites are on WordPress. It's ubiquitous. You can find a web designer just about anywhere that can help you. It is a great, inexpensive platform. One of my favorite words of the day, it is free. Obviously, it's not free to have your web designer create your website for you, but it is free. Now, the great thing about WordPress, they have a bunch of these things called plugins. Plugins are just these little additions that you can add to your website. It's like building up your home. So for example, if you want to add e-commerce to your website, you can add what's called WooCommerce. That is WordPress, the WordPress e-commerce plugin. And also they have free options for you there. Now let's say, hey, I'm not on WordPress. What do I do? Do I have alternatives? Do I have other options? Absolutely. Now, when I got in e-commerce 100 years ago, shopping carts it was crazy how much money I had to pay for a shopping cart. Today, you can get a shopping cart for $20 a month. So it is not cost prohibitive to get into e-commerce. There's Shopify, Wix, 3D Cart, BigCommerce, Weebly. There's all sorts of options for you to use. A lot of these are, once again, ubiquitous. They are simple, easy. You can find web designers, and I'm sure your small business development center can help you refer web designers that can help you out. Now, if you are getting into e-commerce for the first time, you have to have what's called an SSL certificate. What's an SSL certificate? It's that little lock that goes on a website. You're familiar with this, that little lock right there, HTTPS. And if you don't go with an SSL, Google, starting 3 years ago, when you're on a website and it has that little thing that says not secure, they're not indexing your site. So it hurts you from a search ranking standpoint. It hurts your credibility for shoppers or users or customers that are on your website. Strongly encourage you to get your SSL certificate. Now, we recommend this brand called Setigo. So they are a great brand to go with. Okay, let's continue rolling with Falcon Electronics. I'm going to take it another step further and show you another e-commerce opportunity that presented itself. So Falcon Electronics produces this little item. It's called a ground strap. And you're thinking to yourself, what on earth is a ground strap? Ground straps are a multi-billion-dollar industry. Anything and everything that draws a current needs to be grounded. Thus, they need a ground strap. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to look like this guy. Not pretty. Okay. So everything on a planet is grounded that draws a current. Think planes, trains, automobiles. Great buddy comedy movie here. Just for a little trivia, if you guys can name these actors, drop that in the chat box. We might have a prize for you at the end, right, Jenna? So anyway, just kidding. So great movie, planes, trains, automobiles. Think of all your appliances in your home, your computers. Everything needs to be grounded. Well, Falcon Electronics was producing thousands and thousands of ground straps every month, but it was for only one customer. It was in the auto industry. Okay. Now, what was the problem? They had everything in place to scale that item. However, they were the best kept secret. Nobody else other than this one customer knew that they made this product. So they had the equipment, the machinery, the skill set. They had the raw material. Everything was in place to scale it. However, they needed a sales channel. So we're like, hey, just like what we did with those power strips, This is another e-commerce opportunity. So once again, we're on WordPress. We had WooCommerce all set up. This was pretty easy. We took this product line. We never even produced a single item. All we did is put up a web page with a bunch of different products, and bam, lo and behold, we started like, hey, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Let's see, is there anybody on this planet that wants to purchase our little goofy ground straps? And sure enough, once again, in e-commerce, it is wonderful because you can take orders 24/7. Now, I apologize. This is a horrible screenshot. I took it at 4:47 a.m. Not sure what I was doing up so early that day. But you look down here at the very, very bottom, you see that small print. Who did this order come in from? Boeing. Now, how cool is that? Here's little tiny 30-person Falcon Electronics trying to sell their ground straps. One of the largest companies on the planet, Boeing, knocks on their door, and they are now a repeat customer buying their ground straps. So folks, if you're new to e-commerce, you're contemplating e-commerce. I've been in e-commerce, I think, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 years. It's been a long time. I'm telling you, there's no greater means that is more efficient, more effective to test new products, just like we showed here with these ground straps. So it's a great opportunity to put yourself out there. Let's talk about the configurator. What on earth is a configurator? Let me show you why. People were knocking on our door like Boeing, our soulmates, Engineering Elsa. People were saying, hey, we like the product that you have, but we need a different size. We need a different configuration, okay? Well, it wasn't realistic for us to have an infinite number of sizes on the website. So what we did, we went back to our web designer and we said, hey, is it possible, could we create a little tool, just like somebody making a t-shirt or somebody, you know, when you go online and you put together something, could we have someone customize and create their own product? So I'm showing you this page for multiple reasons. We're in this section, how do you make that great first web impression? So again, it's not about me today. It's all about you. Think about your ideal buyer, the language that you want to speak to for your soulmate, and that call to action. So in our case, it's Engineering Elsa. Let's say that she's at Boeing, her boss, a superior, supervisor, somebody up the food chain comes down and says, hey, Elsa, you need to purchase 30 things today, and it needs to be done by 4 o'clock today. Ready, go. And she's like, my goodness, how am I going to finish this by 4 o'clock today? She does a Google search, and we're going to show you how to get those first page rankings on Google. Here's the landing page, and we're speaking to Elsa. So pretend that you're Elsa right now, okay? Receive an instant ground strap quote. No RFQ wait time takes 60 seconds or less. Are you kidding me? What we're telling our persona is, hey, we know you're busy. We have your back. Typically, we know the story. It takes days, weeks to get those RFQs. We're going to turn this around to you in 60 seconds or less by manufacturer direct, made in USA since 1985. Here's our clear, concise call to action button. And then we have a video right here. We have videos on every page of this little tool. This tool is so easy to use. Even I can use it. When our ideal customer lands on this page, they have two options. They can click yes, or they click no. If there's any confusion, we have a video right here. Here's a little configuration of the menu of what they just created. This product doesn't exist anywhere else on the planet. This is so simple. This could be if we owned a pizza shop. These options could be, I want cheese, I want pepperoni, I want anchovies. It could be if you're in a service sector, if you're a landscaper, what options do you want us to do for your lawn? If you're in insurance, I have 2 kids, I have 1.5 dogs, I have a picket fence. So again, the idea, it's not about Falcon Electronics, it's about how do we make it as easy as possible for our customers to do business with us. Now, when that customer hits submit in 60 seconds, they're done, they receive that quote for a product that doesn't exist anywhere else on the planet instantly in their email. Now check this out. This is super cool. Down at the bottom, we have a big call to action button, place order now. So Engineering Elsa can press place order now. She pulls out her credit card. She is done. She can move on to the 29 other things that she needs to hit today for her tight deadline. So now yesterday, let me throw in my LinkedIn hat. We had a great time talking about LinkedIn. Every lead, if you're in a B2B space, if you're in B2C space, wherever you are, check out your customer. Now, maybe if they're on Facebook or if they're on Instagram, but in the B2B world, where do we go? We go to LinkedIn. So here's Engineering Elsa right here front and center. So this person here used our quote tool. Here's her LinkedIn profile. She works at Virgin Hyperloop. It's the billionaire Richard Branson. It's its high-speed train project going on in LA. And we check out Engineering Elsa. She has her bachelor's degree from Stanford. Not only that, she has her master's degree in engineering from Stanford. Plus, she played on Division I lacrosse team. Man, I want to be on my A game for every customer. Now that I know what's going on with Engineering Elsa, I have conversation pieces. I can build more of that trust, but I want to be on my A+ game. And I encourage you, check out those leads that come in to your store or your e-commerce store on LinkedIn or other social platforms. Now, for little tiny Falcon Electronics, they've had leads because they've narrowed their focus, because they've not only niched down, they've really micro niched down, and they want to be the best in that category. They've had companies like Ford, Boeing, Virgin Hyperloop, Johnson & Johnson, Amazon Robotics, Halliburton have all purchased from Falcon Electronics because they've committed to this narrow focus. So folks, what I like to preach, how can we help that ideal buyer make a buying decision on a Friday night at midnight without having to wait for us to open up our doors on Monday morning? When we can eliminate those barriers to do business with us, those are great competitive opportunities to separate ourselves from the competition. My friends at that make that little recording device at Build-A-Bear Voice Express, they're doing the exact same thing. We've created a configurator where I have a product of theirs. They do like these little audio brochures where this brochure will speak to you. I open it up, it talks to you, and you can actually create your own little audio brochure. So I think I saw there might be a question. Jenna, I'm going to take a little break. I know we're coming to lunchtime, and any questions that we have so far?
Yeah, so one of the questions we have on here is, should I use an out-of-the-box solution for e-commerce like Shopify as opposed to building my own e-commerce website?
Awesome question. My answer is not knowing details. So maybe if there was a reason, absolutely go with out of the box. Absolutely go out of the box. For $20 a month, it's almost a no-brainer. If you go with WordPress, it's free, or WooCommerce, it's free. Back in the day, you could create your own shopping cart. And again, maybe there's more details, or if you're a rock star designer. But the thing is, by just outsourcing, it's called SaaS products, right? Software as a service. QuickBooks is a SaaS product. Instead of me trying to do my own accounting in like an Excel spreadsheet, I can use QuickBooks. My shopping cart, instead of like spending all this time, why isn't this working? I'm trying to code, I'm doing this, that, the other thing. Go to Shopify, go to WooCommerce, go to BigCommerce for $20 a month. To me, unless there's an exception, or and I welcome, shoot me an email, or if there's we were having a conversation why to go a different direction. But I absolutely, about 99.9% would go with out of the box.
Okay. Another question we have, is there any recommendation on the best ways of selling on Amazon or Alibaba?
Man, that's a great question. You are 2 steps ahead of me. So if that question can wait, I have, we're going to come into section number 2, section number 3. So now if this person was like, man, I need to get going, you can't leave, you have to stay, because we're going to hit Alibaba and Amazon in our 3rd section. So I will come back to that question. Anything else that you have, Jenna?
The last one was, how much does it cost to make sure that your website is secure?
Oh, how much? Okay, okay. That's a loaded question. Okay, to make sure that how much does it cost? How much do you have, right? Have you been seeing some of these companies that have been hijacked recently and held hostage? Craig, I think you're nodding your head. I mean, it's been absolutely crazy. That's and we're recording this, so I'm not comfortable giving a short answer on that. It's this whole hacking Bitcoin, hostage situation is scary out there. Definitely get your SSL certificate. I would encourage you to pay for one, get a quality one. I know there's a lot of freebies out there. I would encourage you, and you don't have to pay a fortune. Our most common is like $150 a year. For $150, absolutely go with an SSL. If you're on WooCommerce, one of the negatives with WordPress is like it's always plugins. And so make sure whoever your web designer is, ask them that we have like the best secure plugin Shopify, most of the other carts, they're providing security for you. Okay. So that's I'll leave that. That's not my area of expertise, but man, it's getting ugly out there. So, okay, move forward. How we doing good?
We're good to go. We can move
Okay,
forward.
so guys, we just covered how to make that great first web impression. Number 2, we're digging in. Okay, let's all say it together, guys. Ready? Stop being the best kept secret, right? We want to dominate search. So when somebody does a search for they have a problem right now, and man, you are the best solution. Not only would you be thrilled to find them, they would be thrilled to find you. We need to help you dominate search. A lot easier said than done, but let's take a look. And hey, this is for John Lynch again, man. This ain't no party. This ain't no disco. This ain't no fooling around. Our friends at Talking Heads. So, all right, if we want to dominate search, we're not fooling around. So let's go through some quick examples here. If you're new to e-commerce, maybe you've been in business 30 days, you've been in business for 30 years. You're like, hey man, I'm done. I'm sick of being the best kept secret. Google Ads gets you in the game yesterday, right? We can get in immediately and come up on those search results. So if this is new to you, I'm just going to run through this super quick. If I do a search, now that you're a ground strap expert, if I do ground straps, see that's a little ad right there, AD. That's how Google makes their bazillions of dollars. Now, it doesn't cost a company to come in that first position, but every time somebody clicks on that ad, that's when the cash register rings for Google. That company in that position pays Google for that click. Thus, it's called pay per click. Okay. So now, the only challenge is it costs money and clicks are not cheap. Okay. So now another option is Google Shopping. Okay. Google Shopping is fantastic because Google Shopping allows the customer to actually see the product. Okay. Now, when you get older, you say like, man, I remember back when bread was a nickel and gas was $1. Well, I'm so old now. I can say, I remember when clicks were only like literally 10 cents. Jenna, can you believe that? They were like 10 cents. Now they're like $1, $10, $20, $30 a click. They get super expensive. But the great thing is on Google Shopping, we want to improve our conversions where we don't want people clicking on our ads that have no intention of buying from us. If we're going to pay for that ad, we're just crossing our fingers. We want to be extremely strategic that we have good ads, good verbiage, good pictures, pricing right here that somebody would click that ad and convert. But it does cost money to do those. Now, ironically, if I haven't shared with you guys, I offer a free webinar every single Friday. Man, we are blessed with high-level speakers. I actually have a Google Shopping expert coming up in a couple weeks. Shoot me an email. I'll get you on our email list if you're interested. But every single Friday at 1:30 Eastern time, we have great speakers coming up on our program. So guys, that section, Google Ads, Google Shopping, I'm asking you to spend money to get into the game, okay? Here, this is where the money section is. And most importantly, it is free. Unfortunately, it takes time. So time is money, time's not free. But from this section here, I call this is the money section of the program. So let's check this out. Okay. I primarily work with manufacturers, and years ago, this used to be called Google Local. It is now Google My Business. In the past, if you were trying to sell products nationally, I'd be like, well, maybe Google Local isn't so important for you. I've changed 180 degrees. I don't care what product you're in. I don't care what service you're in. You absolutely strongly encourage you, invite you, welcome you, take full advantage of Google My Business. Okay. Google My Business is basically, number one, it's Google. Number two, what's our favorite word of the day? It's free. Take full advantage. Google, check this out right here. They let you post photos. You can put up blog posts. You can put your keywords in those blog posts. You can put videos. You can put all sorts of content, and it lets people know where you are. Strongly encourage you to take full advantage of Google My Business. Next, we're going to talk about SEO. And for those who are like, man, what is SEO? It's search engine optimization. And it's those, darn, how do we get on those first page rankings of Google? And one of the top ways to get a first page ranking of Google is blogging. And every time I say blogging, even though every single one of you are on mute, I hear the moans, I hear the groans. I'm like, man, if I wanted a blog, I would have gone to journalism school. Who has time to blog? And even if I did do a bunch of blogging, it's going to be crickets. Who's going to read these blogs? That was just a great excuse to get this guy in the program. But guys, I'm going to take you through a process. And when I go through this, it's all about you. Okay. Our friends at Falcon Electronics, remember those guys, Falcon Electronics? Well, they had an online identity crisis. They were trying to be everything to everyone online. They were nothing to no one. We want to narrow our focus down, niche down. And what we discovered when we focus on what are they absolutely best at, they're really good at wire harness assemblies, wire harness manufacturing. Okay. So wires, you lift the hood of your car, there's wires everywhere. You open up the back of your fridge, there's wires, everything that's electric has wires somewhere. They do a great job with wire harness manufacturing. So we're like, hey, what if we put out content for Engineering ELSA and we call it Wire Harness Wednesdays? Okay. And so every single Wednesday, they had a social media intern from a local college. They had somebody on staff that helped out. And every single Wednesday, they started putting out content that would speak to an Engineering ELSA or any of their other personas, those ideal buyers that would help them make purchases related to wire harness manufacturing. Let's take a look. And again, it's not about Falcon Electronics or wire harness manufacturing. It's all about you. Think about the problem you solve, the products that you provide, and your ideal customers, your soulmates, what would they want to read? Okay. So if you have insomnia, you can't sleep at night, jump on this blog, man. I'll tell you, these blog posts will put you right to sleep unless you're Engineering ELSA. Let's take a look at some of the topics here. Wire installation types, wire harness testing, types of wire terminals, wire harness terms and definitions. We started doing that every single Wednesday for months. And also we're like, hey, we have a whole library. We have an arsenal of content. What if we put together, we take all of it. Now I'm going to get very technical on you guys. You ready? Jenna, you sitting down? You ready? We took a bunch of our blog posts and we just smushed them together. Very technical, right? We put a bunch of these blog posts together, just kind of changed the content around, and we created a guide. Now, our key word is wire harness manufacturing that we're trying to come up on for first page on Google. So let's take a look at this page right here at the top. See where it says wire harness manufacturing, a wire harness assembly guide. Those are our keywords. Wire harness manufacturing terms, tools, and tips of the trade. Wire harness manufacturing is our foundation. It's in our blood, dating all the way back to 1985. The team at Falcon Electronics takes tremendous pride. Down here, we say we are wire harness geeks. We call it our crusade. Here's our call to action button right here. We're speaking to our soulmate. Here's our keyword, wire harness manufacturing, wire harness manufacturing, wire harness manufacturing. What does Google think of all this? Google comes back and says, hey, man, we like what you're doing. Therefore, we're going to put you in the #1 top position. This is every search marketer's dream come true. This is called a Google snippet. It's the #1 top position. We don't always have it, man. We are fighting relentlessly to keep it. This strategy works so well. Check this out. We actually are coming above our own trade association. Now, again, Falcon Electronics, 35 employees. This is not a big company. We're going against Fortune 500 companies. We're going against companies from China, from Europe. Extremely competitive keyword, 16 million, nearly 16 million pages, and they've earned the top position because we're consistently putting out that content that speaks to our ideal customer. Now, I'm like, okay, did we just get lucky or does this really work? So let's take a look here at ground straps. Ground straps have nearly 60, look at that, 58.9 million pages. Ground straps can be found at AutoZone, O'Reilly Auto Parts, McMaster-Carr, Amazon. We're competing against Fortune 500 companies, Grainger, publicly traded companies. Once again, because we put together this guide, little tiny Falcon Electronics has a #1 top position. In this case, because of this ground strap guide that we put together. I'll show you one more example. I mentioned to you that we're one of the only power strip manufacturers left in the United States. So if you work for the Department of Defense, or you're just like that testimonial I showed you earlier, where you're like, hey, I just want a power strip that's made in USA. Well, out of nearly 47 million pages, Falconer enjoys the #1 and the #2 position on organic search, Now, again, with all these positions, somebody could click on these 1,000 times. It doesn't cost Falcon Electronics a single penny. This builds incredible traffic, quality traffic, and credibility. And you can see here, when we started with Falcon Electronics, they had 0 traffic. And this is, boy, we'd love to have our 401ks portfolio going in this direction, right? Nice, steady climb. And again, it's a small, tiny custom manufacturer. We've been thrilled with the traffic and the results. So guys, to earn those top page rankings, now this page here alone could be this could be a workshop. Yesterday we did LinkedIn. Every icon on here could be its own workshop. I encourage you, when you figure out your persona, your soulmate, that ideal buyer, and where are they hanging out, boy, just be relentless putting out high quality traffic, high quality content to those folks. Now, yesterday we were talking about our LinkedIn superpowers. So if you're in the B2B space, be aggressive on LinkedIn. Now, how do you earn those top page rankings on Google? Takes a long time. I don't have a silver bullet, but Google called the word on the street is Google's looking for good eats. And we're coming into lunchtime, so appropriate word for right now. What does EAT stand for? E is expertise. A stands for authority. T stands for trust. Google is looking to provide their customers, all of us doing a search on a daily basis, Google's looking to provide us with a great search result and a good customer experience, just like we're trying to provide our customers with a good quality experience. Okay. So again, if you're doing screenshots, take a screenshot of this one right here. This is my favorite slide of the program. What are we trying to do, guys? Like right now, we're with the SBDC. We're trying to, we're trying to earn your trust, and we're trying to help propel your business. We're doing things with integrity. We're trying to do things with sincerity, reliability. The most important word today for a takeaway is consistency. Remember, Wire Harness Wednesdays. So maybe if you did like Fun Fact Fridays or Tuesday Tips or whatever it is, space that you're in, I do my webinar every single Friday at 1:32. We start right on the dot, and we try to be consistent every single Friday as we're trying to earn the trust of our personas. Now, here's a great quote. Craig, Jenna, hopefully you love this quote. The hallmark of excellence, the test of greatness is consistency. And who dropped this famous quote? The man himself, Jim Tressel, right? President Youngstown State. So here's a look. If you're from outside of Ohio, like, how would you not know this gentleman? Jim Tressel. Jenna, I hate to say it, my favorite picture of Jim Tressel being an Ohio State alumnus is right there. I was in Arizona in the stands when we won the national championship, thanks to my man, Jim Tressel. I was there cheering and screaming. And so anyway, I digress. I apologize for that. So, okay. Guys, we just covered how you make that great first impression. We call it webpression. Number 2, we need to stop being the best kept secret. We need to get out there and dominate search. Number 3, since we're on the football theme, we need to get offensive. And for those of you who don't know, Youngstown State is a great football team, but we need to get offensive. And so for that question on Amazon and Alibaba, here we go. Okay, we just talked about how do you dominate search. And in this case, when we do a search for ground straps, check this out. Amazon, number 1. Amazon, number 2. Little tiny Falcon Electronics is number 3, man. Big bullies, Amazon at number 1 and Amazon at number 2, picking on 30-person Falcon Electronics. Now, again, we're in the 3rd position organically. We should be absolutely thrilled. Once again, we're going against AutoZone, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Advanced Auto Parts, all these companies I mentioned before, and Amazon. So we should be thrilled that we're position number 3. But if I want to take on the 800-pound e-commerce gorilla and we want to come up number 1, what do? Well, we keep going after them, but I also learned a long time ago, if we can't beat them, let's join them. So this is exactly what we did. So hopefully we'll dig into a little bit, and hopefully I'll address that Amazon question. So on a whim, a couple years ago, we put our product, these ground straps, on Amazon. And man, sure enough, they took off. And Falcon Electronics has earned that little coveted top spot right there, that Amazon's choice. I took the screenshot a while ago. They have hundreds and hundreds of reviews, of 5-star reviews for their product. This has become a prominent strategy for their product line. Now, many people, myself included, I've been following Amazon since Amazon was just selling books. God, that seems like 100 years ago. But check this out. This is a scary, scary stat. If you're selling products and you're not selling on Amazon, I'm just repeating facts. We're excluding a major part of the market. Check this out. More than 6 in 10 consumers in key e-commerce markets start their shopping search on Amazon. Amazon has now become just as much of a search engine as it's become a product seller. Isn't that scary? So think about that. So I strongly encourage you, if you are selling products, if you're a manufacturer, if you're a distributor, you're a reseller, you're drop shipping, whatever case that or wherever you're at in your e-commerce journey, or you're just starting out, I strongly encourage you to consider some type of an Amazon strategy. If you don't, I have no affiliation with Amazon, we're just putting ourselves at a disadvantage. Okay. Now, again, we talked about my friends at Build-A-Bear with a little recording device. On a whim, they put their product on Amazon and they are absolutely crushing it. They now check, this has like 460 reviews. I think last I checked, they're over 1,000. So this is just one item that they sell. So again, I strongly encourage you, and they also have that little coveted Amazon's Choice being the top position. So I encourage you to check out Amazon. There are all sorts of other options. There's Walmart. There's a company called DigiKey. There's all sorts of different marketplaces. There's one in the B2B industrial space called Zorro. They're a division of Grainger, major player. As a matter of fact, I mentioned my little Friday webinar program. I have Tracy, the Senior Director of Business Development from Zorro. She's coming up on our program in a few weeks. Can't wait to have her on the show. And she's going to be talking about taking advantage of marketplaces. We mentioned Alibaba. I love Alibaba. We talked about Alibaba yesterday. I have a great relationship with the folks at Alibaba. My Alibaba contact was just speaking at the exact same time I was at Temple University Small Business Development Center, and she was talking about how they help distributors and companies go global. Now, what I like about, so let's go back a second on Amazon and with the marketplaces, it doesn't cost anything. Well, I won't say free, nothing's free, but it doesn't cost anything to go on Amazon. And that's an exaggeration. I think it's like $39.99 a month to get started on Amazon, but it's a low cost opportunity. It doesn't cost anything if you're to pursue like Walmart, Zorro, or some of these other platforms. Now, what they do is they take a large percentage. So when you do sell, you need to make sure you have a healthy profit margin to sell on those platforms. Okay. Now, in the case of Alibaba, totally different. They have an annual subscription. And again, I don't have an affiliation with them. I work closely with them and we refer back and forth to each other. I refer clients to them and be happy to refer you to them. If you are interested, we'll get you a white glove treatment. Again, I have no financial connection to them, but what they do is they have an annual subscription, but no commission. So you pay that one-time fee, but it puts you in a global marketplace. And so my friends at Voice Express, the recorder for Build-A-Bear, they have put their products on and they recently just landed a really nice order through Alibaba. So now, and then I don't know if I addressed that question specifically, but other options to consider, there's Etsy, Craigslist is old school, eBay's been around for 100 years. You have Facebook. If you're in home goods in any capacity, House is a great place to be. Strongly recommend to consider House. And a big thing that I like to suggest or recommend on with the marketplaces hit those three categories that we just covered today. Okay. So again, whether it was yesterday, we're talking about your LinkedIn profile. Today, we're talking about your e-commerce strategy. It could be your marketplace strategy. We want to make that great first web impression. Okay. So again, clear, concise photos, pictures, images of your product. Let's make no assumptions that somebody knows what your commodity or what your item looks like. Have a good, clear picture. Have an excellent description. And we want to make sure that we're speaking clearly, keep it simple for someone that doesn't understand your product as well as you do, number one. Number two, those keyword opportunities. We just talked about how we dominate search. So we want to make sure that we're going after those keyword strategies on all your descriptions. When you're putting up pictures, when I say tag it, you can put a product description in that picture that also helps you with search. And number 3, this is how we get offensive. This is how we stop being the best kept secret. This is a bad screenshot, but anyway. Guys, I'm going to wind down, and because I'm going to leave time for questions. I know we were a little tight on questions yesterday, but I'm going to share this quote with you guys. Surround yourself with people who are going to take you higher. So again, I'm going to give a big, huge shout out to my friends at the Small Business Development Center. If you're not working with a small business development center near you, they are anywhere and everywhere. Strongly encourage you to check those guys out. But Jen, I'm going to stick around for questions. Are there any questions that we have right now?
Currently, we do not have any in the chat or the Q&A, but I just put in the chat if anybody has any questions, please send them over and we'll get them to Curt and hopefully we can get those answered. So we just had one pop in. It says, what about e-commerce for companies that offer services?
Excellent. Oh boy, that's a great question. Okay, so services, multiple things that you want to do. Okay, now let me get rid of this. For services, we talked about here, so let me come back. Okay, so think about your services. So you can have like, for example, like there's Angie's List. Okay, so because I go more product based, I didn't put these in here, but you can think about like Angie's List, Home Advisor. So there's all sorts of and if the person wants to drop in what type of service they had, they can feel free to drop that in there. Amazon also is now starting to aggressively go after services. They have, if you Google Amazon B2B services, they are aggressively going after that market, like the Angie's List market, and you can post a listing there. Okay. Now, if you're providing services, I'm going to make the assumption that you're local. Okay, that your business is maybe within your city, within your area. Google My Business is absolutely critical. Okay, so you want to make sure when somebody, so say whatever the service, like say accounting services in Youngstown, Ohio, home cleaning services in Cleveland, Ohio. You want to make sure that your keyword, that service, that process, whatever that you provide, that you're attacking your local area and your community. So you want to be using those keywords in your content, in your posts, and all of that. So hopefully.
And Curt, they responded back that they are a CPA. So it'd be accounting services.
Love it. Okay, so and I think we mentioned accounting. So you know what? I'm glad they said that, because I just did I did my first live workshop last week, and it was from the University of Buffalo Center of Entrepreneurial Leadership, and it was a women's entrepreneurial leadership retreat. And man, they had me speak at it. It was very intimidating, but it was a bunch of women, professional women, incredible, successful entrepreneurs, and there was a team of attorneys. What these attorneys do is, it's called the Berardi firm in Buffalo. Okay, as a matter of fact, I could probably jump up and show you real quick. Every single and I was going to put it in here, and I did. Every single Tuesday, they come out with like Tuesday tips for their space that they do. Okay, and it's the owner, founder of the law firm, her staff, and every week they're coming out, and it's for immigration law. And every single week they're coming out with updates, new information, things on coding, so on and so forth. Everything based around their space. Every Tuesday, it's a 1-minute video clip, and they do an amazing job. And why combination of things that why this is so critical of what they're doing. Number one, Google owns YouTube. So they're posting all those videos on YouTube, number one. Number two, every single one of those videos, what's our favorite word of the day? Are free. It takes time, but they're doing a 1-minute video. They literally can pull out a cell phone, they hit play, and they talk for 60 seconds to 90 seconds. Okay. They're going to talk, they're demonstrating trust. And it's back to, remember this slide way back here, Jim Tressel, my man, remember this? And it's all about that consistency. So if I'm a CPA firm, and depending on what, maybe if you have a certain sector that you target, or you have a certain specialty or expertise in accounting, I would be putting out consistent content that speaks to your ideal client on a regular, consistent basis. Now for e-commerce, we could dig a little bit deeper. You could talk about, putting packages, rates, so on and so forth. However, my advice to you, and I've worked with accounting firms in the past, and this is exactly what we talk about: aggressive on LinkedIn, aggressive with videos, aggressive with content that helps. I love my accountant. Why? She makes my life easier when it comes to tax time. I don't have to be a tax expert. I can focus on what I try to do best, and she lets me do my thing, and she's the best at what she does. So that's my, and if you want to talk further, I apparently work with manufacturers, but I love working with financial firms. Again, and this would just be a 30-minute call or whatever. Shoot me an email and we can talk further if you want to have that conversation. So.
Okay, another question we had, someone said it's hard to understand the insights of Google My Business. I can go from 50,000 in activity to 30 in a few days. Views are similar, not sure how I can get more consistency.
Okay, do me a favor, Jenna, repeat that question again.
So they said it's hard to understand the insights from their Google My Business.
Insights, the actual dashboard?
I believe so. So the analytics from that, and it's talking about how they go from 50,000 viewers in activity to 30 in a few days, and was wondering how can they get more consistent views for Google My Business.
Okay, that's an excellent question. Okay, so now those 50,000, I don't know, maybe they're like Russian hackers one day and then they lay off you the next day. I'm just kidding. So, again, the consistent, that would be a deeper conversation as far as, like the actual usage of the dashboard. What I was just on a call with a client down in Miami before our meeting today, and they're trying to come up with a more aggressive Google My Business strategy. Not sure if I'm going to answer this clearly, concisely. Is just, what's our word right here? Jim Tressel, consistency. Think about, like if every Tuesday, whatever your product, whatever your service, whatever business you're in, could you start putting out specifics, certain times of the day? Could you do certain content, certain times of the week? Again, like Tuesday tips, thoughts on Thursday, Friday, fun fact Fridays, what have you. You know what? And the hard thing is creating that consistency. My world is, I have like a lot of us LinkedIn junkies. And there's a lot of folks that measure their analytics for their video, aggressive with video on LinkedIn. And it drives them absolutely insane. One video they think is going to be mediocre is off the charts. One video they think is that they crushed it has virtually little to no views. So a lot of times trying to figure out these logarithms is going to drive you absolutely crazy and insane, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Google My Business. So I'm probably not giving a laser focused, clear, concise answer. Just, stick with it, consistent, try to measure, test. And, that's what I would recommend. Images and videos. I couldn't promote those enough on Google My Business for folks.
Okay, another question we have was, it said, Falconer sells products based on utility value, but not all products are sold based on utility value. What's Curt's thought on building a website that appeals to customer, and how can the business owner measure the non-quantifiable aesthetics other than number of user visits / time spent on the web page?
Man, God, I love the guys. You guys are awesome, man. I love this. This is like my favorite part of the program is these questions. Okay. How do I measure success on aesthetics? Okay. And if that person were interested, I'd love to know what they're doing. If they could give me like a little tip. Okay. Benchmarks of success. So I didn't dig in. If we were doing a Google class, we would go into like Google Analytics. Okay. So now on Google Analytics, if this makes sense to you, you do a Google search and you come up on that page, that's an impression. Okay. Now, maybe you came down way at the bottom of the page. I never saw you, but that's still considered an impression. Now, on that Google search page, if somebody clicks on your Google Analytics, it's called CTR. That's click-through rate, okay? It's awesome when we have a great click-through rate. Company I was just talking to in Miami this morning, man, they had click-through rates in some cases, some of their top keywords, 60%, 80%. So that click-through rate is awesome. However, we're here to make a living. Unfortunately, money makes the world go round. We have bills to pay. We have to keep the lights on, so on and so forth. So we need conversions. We need sales. So if we just have a website that's not selling products, widgets, and it's more aesthetics, and again, I'd love to know what you're doing so I could dig a little deeper into that. But with aesthetics, we can look at what impressions are coming up on certain keywords. What are your click-through rates, time spent on the website? And again, I'd love to know how, assuming that this isn't just a pure hobby, that you're trying to make money somehow. Was there any more added to that, Jenna, on that comment? Nothing? Okay. What's your benchmark measurement of success? Okay. So if I'm selling memberships, okay, not necessarily I guess that membership would be, it's not a physical product, but my membership would be tangible. If I'm an accountant, our CPA friend, I'm going to be selling my services, whether it's, I want to do quarterlies, I want to do your payroll service, I can have all those services listed out. And as I have those services listed out, I can be like, let me run with my CPA friend for a minute. So say if you do payroll services, we could have that section on your website. So now my keywords, I'm going to try to drive traffic to that soulmate that needs a payroll service. Who is it? Because that person might be completely different than the person that's looking for personal tax, my annual, personal taxes, versus somebody that needs corporate taxes done, right? So you're targeting multiple different, potentially multiple different personas. So let's take the payroll situation, for example. If you provide payroll services and I'm not converting that sale on my website, I can track how often am I coming up on search, my impressions, what's my click-through rate, how many times people are landing on my site. Now, here's what I can do for my friend that said we're not selling a product. And here's a great, I don't say great, I don't want to imply I give great tips. These are just things that I've learned that I'm sharing with you. A call to action on the website. Let's not let them come on the website and then just take off and go somewhere else. Give them a freebie, okay? I have a few free things that I'm offering today. I have my e-commerce resource guide on our website. We offer a free persona worksheet. If you're like, man, I'm not sure who my soulmate is, we have a worksheet for free, no obligation. We're not going to hound you, call you, contact your mother. It's just this worksheet that we give for free, and you can create your own persona. Okay. We have a website audit tool that we offer. It is phenomenal. It's fantastic. No obligation. You put it in and you receive a lot of helpful information on your website. So with that diatribe, what I encourage you, welcome you to have is a call to action. Give something for free. My friends at Voice Express are giving away a free sample. All of you are an expert in some field. Whatever that area of expertise is, could you provide a checklist, top 10 things to do to mow your lawn to make it look great, top 10 things, top 10 tax tips for your service. So again, capture that email, give them a guide, give them a resource, send them a video, give them something so they don't just leave you and forget about you. Okay. So hopefully that was helpful, but that's, a sample, a giveaway, a guide, all sorts of information that you could provide to continue that engagement with that person on your site.
Okay, perfect. I think that wraps up our Q&A, and Craig, I'll hand it over to you to wrap up our webinar.
All right. Thank you, Jenna. Curt, again, I know we're up on time, but we truly appreciate you taking time to help our attendees today learn a lot more about e-commerce. Excellent session, lots of helpful lessons, tips, and strategies for our business owners and attendees to use going forward. Also, yesterday's session, great lessons there. I know you used many different examples. One that stood out for me was just showing the power of a LinkedIn message and how you sent that over to the founder of Hint, the water company, and then how that turned into you being able to work together with her. So again, great opportunity today and lessons that you provided and shared with all of our attendees on how to sell online, the 24/7 aspect of that, all the way to working with and the need to also consider working with Amazon, especially with the amount of e-commerce that goes through there and the partner sites such as Shopify and the others you outlined. So again, we really appreciate it. Also, special thanks to Jenna Binsley for all the work that you've done to design all the digital assets and to field all the Q&A in the chat. And to Patricia Weiss, our director of our SBDC here, for making this program available to all of our clients and others. So we truly appreciate it. So thank you again, Curt, and everyone for attending today. I wish you all a great rest of your week, and we'll make sure if you need a copy of this to get that out to you later today. So thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Craig, Patricia. God bless everyone, and have an awesome, awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you.